Hello and welcome to Life and Style Monday edition. We call it Inspiration Monday. I'm your host, Wikali, and we are coming to you from Meru County. Super excited to be here. We are at the Shade Net Hotel in Meru, and we're here to talk to the proprietor of the Shade Net Hotel. Susan is one amazing, phenomenal woman. She's a mother of 3 amazing daughters, a wife, sits on different boards, and runs a couple of businesses. How does she do all of this and still emerge a winner at all of them? Let's talk to her.
Hi. Welcome, Wikari.
You look lovely.
Pleasure to have you.
And you have a beautiful property here.
Thank you so much for the compliment.
Yes.
Welcome to Shade Net Hotel.
Asante
and
sana.
Welcome to Meru County.
You're not going to do that in Kemeru?
Karibu mono Meru. Muga mono.
Mwega.
Ndo mwega kabisa. Karibu sana.
Asante
Karibu
sana. Susan, thank you so much for having us. You have a beautiful establishment, and thank you for hosting us. We enjoyed the night.
Karibuni.
Great. And you know, this is something I like to say every time I have an interview, is that people might look at Susan right now and be like, Susan aliangukia jackpot, Susan. They wish. You wish, right?
Yeah.
But then there's always a story, there's always a journey that each individual takes, and Motivate is all about that. It's about what you do or what you've gone through to get to the place that you are. And today we are here because we're interested in your story and knowing where Shade Net came from and what other things you're also involved in. So maybe you can take us back. We're in Meru County, of course. Yes. Where in Meru do you come from?
Thank you. I want to start by welcoming you to Shade Net.
Asante.
And thank you for taking interest in our story. I am a girl who is born and grown in Meru.
Yes.
A village by the name Mboinjero.
Mboinjero.
Mboinjero village.
That's a white
feathers.
White feathers. Mboinjero. I would have gone with Mbuzi Nyeupe, but clearly
no. From the Kemeru point of view,
it's white feathers. That's beautiful.
Yes,
but
later got married to Nyeri village, which is within Nyeri, which is within the same county.
Great. I've asked a couple of people one question, and nobody gives me an answer. Probably you will give me that answer.
Oh, free will.
I've tried to ask what kwaheri, see you again, means, or how you can say it. In Meru, nobody seems to get it. Probably by the end of the interview, you'll tell me something close to. You'll tell me what.
Yes.
Probably when you come to the end.
Direct interpretations can be tricky at times, but I will attempt. I will attempt.
Great. At least I've given you the homework before. Maybe that was my mistake because I ambushed all of them. All right. So taking you back to Mboinjero.
Yes.
That's Mboinjero. You were a girl and you had a dream. I don't know what that dream was, but every time we're in school, we used to be asked the question, what do you want to be? So for Susan, what did you want to be?
I had always admired people who were professionals in whatever area.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the schools I went to for my early education, they didn't give us the advantage of career counseling.
Okay.
So you could only think of being a professional, but not necessarily in a defined way. Yes, until much later.
All right. So you see, people have this, I want to be a doctor probably because there are doctors in my family. I want to be a teacher because there are teachers in my family. Did you have anything like that?
Not exactly. When I went through my primary education and my secondary school education, science was really emphasized. For the simple reason that very few people were taking interest in science subjects. And fortunately, or by God's grace, I happened to have performed very well in science subjects.
Great.
So I kept being encouraged to pursue a career that related to science.
Did you ever get to do that?
Not exactly. I changed my mind at some point.
Okay.
For the simple reason that the high school I went to was not exactly doing too well in sciences.
Okay.
But on average, still, yes, the science subjects assisted me score an average good mark.
Yeah.
And at some point, I literally made a mistake towards a career choice, but I quickly corrected it.
What do you mean? What was that? What was the mistake? What did you do? I've met all kinds of stories, by the way. There's one who lied to the parents till 4th year. But they followed their heart and their dreams. So I don't know, what was it for you?
I started studying science subjects at A levels, but quickly realized that I wasn't well grounded.
Okay.
And so I changed back to my arts, where I felt I was excelling given the background.
So when you went to university, what did you pursue? I
pursued a Bachelor of Commerce at Nairobi University.
Okay. The great UN.
The great UN. Yes. Very proud to be associated.
Yes.
And later studied Masters in strategic management.
Great. During all this time, because you admired a lot of people who were professionals in whatever area they were in, did you ever think you'd get into business? You were cut out to be a professional and do this, get into the corporate world, work for someone or something, but had you envisioned yourself being an entrepreneur?
I actually envisioned myself being in the line of business very early in the day. And I will quickly share with you again another experience that made me strongly biased towards business. When I was studying my A-levels at Kaga Girls, we used to run a club, economics club, and I used to be the one in charge representing the students. Okay. And we used to make so much money by selling bread and sweets. Okay. And the sweets earned such a margin to the extent that me was in charge, I used to be rewarded heavily. Whoa. So at that very early age, I could afford to buy some nice things for my parents. Sets of cups of coffee, etc.
Oh my God.
Yes, still nice.
So it wasn't just about, selling this, it's about keeping the books right. Making sure that you know the margins you're making and making sure you present that back to the school.
Exactly, and realizing that even a simple business like selling sweets could actually earn you profits. It was too amazing to me. And at the end of the day, why do we go to school? Get knowledge, make money to earn a living.
Great.
And so there you are.
Apply it somehow.
And apply it somehow, yes.
And somehow. So you went and took Bachelor of Commerce.
Yes.
After that, what happened?
After I finished with my first degree, I got employed with Diamond Trust. Okay. Worked in Nakuru, the Nakuru branch, for a good 7.5 years. 7.5 years.
What were you doing for them?
I was in charge of the banking department. Okay. But also playing a critical role in being part of the committee that approved loans for the branch.
7.5 years.
7.5 years.
Why did you leave? You felt like home already.
Good question.
Look at the way you sighed.
Yes, I do that with a good reason.
Yes.
One of the reasons that made me rethink business. Diamond Trust was undergoing quite some major change, restructuring, and they felt like Nakuru branch was not one of their most profitable branches. Okay. And for that reason, they decided to close the branch. Whoa. And were not keen to transfer anyone to the other branches.
That's sad.
That was, to me, very frustrating.
Very frustrating.
Did you have a family for an employer? Yes, I had an employer. I had my first 2 daughters.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh my God. So here you are in Nakuru. You're out of a job. You have 2 kids, 2 daughters.
Yes.
And they're not transferring you to anywhere else.
Yes.
Did you come back to Meru? What happened then? What did you do?
The last thing I was going to think about is come back to Meru, surely. I don't think that's the reason why my parents educated me.
Yes.
So I thought Nairobi was a better center to look for an alternative.
Okay.
So I got back to Nairobi, where I had come from in terms of education. Okay. To start looking for another job.
Did you get something?
Yes, I did. I got an extremely good opportunity. Okay. With an institution called Oiko Credit. Okay. Which is an international institution that basically gives development finance, to projects.
How long were you there for? And how did that help you in terms of starting your own business?
I worked for Oiko Credit for 5 years, and we were serving clients both in Kenya and across the borders, that is Uganda and Tanzania. And I interacted a lot with SMEs because we were actually doing what I would call corporate lending. Long-term loans, big amounts. Good. So we financed institutions like Githogori, and I saw how it changed the lives of the people in Githogori. And that made me again rethink. So not only can you change your life by being in employment, but by running a business, you can actually get to influence other people's lives.
Wow.
Yeah. So that for me was again A motivator.
A motivator. So
A motivator,
5 years
yes.
in.
Yes.
Had you thought of what you want to do after you stopped working for Eco Credit?
Yes. I took a break to do my master's.
Okay.
That was about 1.5 years. Soon after which I thought I wasn't going to get into employment again.
They say if you have a master's, you create jobs.
Yes.
If you have a master's, you create jobs.
Master's is an eye-opener,
Yes.
of course. It teaches you on how to identify opportunities. For sure, I think many of us just close their eyes to the opportunities around them.
Okay.
But once you do master's, you are able to see opportunities around your life.
That is
So
a very
I-
important
yes.
message to the young ones out there who are thinking,
No,
I
no,
don't
no,
need
no.
to go to school. So master's is an eye-opener.
Masters is a do for anyone who really wants to grow their personal lives.
Okay.
Yeah,
Great.
it opens you up to so much in terms of knowledge, in terms of skills, and in terms of the thought process, and particularly even in terms of identifying what it is that you want to do with your own self.
Absolutely.
You don't just position yourself out there for other employers.
No.
You start thinking, I could also be an employer.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and then, what happened?
So after that, I actually went into consultancy.
So you set up your own business?
Yes, I thought I was experienced enough to assist other people do their own financial planning, setting up their own personal financial goals. And so, yes, I joined a financial advisory firm,
Okay.
which I did again for several years.
It looks like you're a keeper. When you get in for a while. You know, one of the things that you hear young entrepreneurs talking about when they want to start a business is how hard it is to get capital, how hard it is to, you know, get the market, how hard it is to grow it. For you, what are some of the challenges you encountered before you started your very first business?
Well, first of all, the biggest challenge was to accumulate sufficient capital to get into the line of business that we had settled for with my spouse.
Which was what?
Which was hospitality industry,
Okay.
specifically hotel business.
Great. Is it this one? Is it this one? The shade nets?
This is the dream turned
Wow.
into reality.
Great. So this was the very first business you had. It must have been, was it?
Not really, not really. We had tried hard in other lines of business,
Okay.
which we are still pursuing
Okay.
many years down the line. We run a pest control company by the name Termitarion TCS.
Okay.
And we mainly concentrate on clients who are putting up new buildings. So we treat the grounds before they concrete.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great stuff. So was that the first one? What was the very first business you started?
That I would say was actually the first business that we started.
Okay. That is the
But,
one you're saying putting in insufficient funds to actually begin the
No,
capital.
that was not a challenge.
Okay.
The one that challenged us in terms of accumulating sufficient capital is actually setting up Shidnet Hotel.
Great.
But for the pest control company, the capital requirement was not major. So we could cope with it.
So
but I will
was
amuse
it
you.
strategic though? Was it strategic? Because when we talk about how difficult it is to find money to set up a business, like ShadeNet would need a huge amount of capital to set up. Was it strategic for you to start with something that was not capital intensive, to grow the money to get to build something that was bigger?
Two factors that made us set up that kind of business. One, sure enough, was capital.
Yes.
Because even the retro that was needed was not quite available.
Yeah.
We started it when I was still in formal employment. So I would take even a cooperative loan and buy a small pickup.
Yes.
My spouse would chip in. He was the main person actually technically on the ground.
Okay.
But I would support him in terms of putting in some little capital from my formal employment.
Wow.
So it was not any easy either. It's just that comparative language or comparatively speaking, it required much less capital than
this
setting
one.
up a hotel.
Great. So you mentioned that capital is one of the major challenges
Yes.
that most entrepreneurs would face. What else is there as a challenge for the people who are trying to set up a business?
Interestingly, competition,
Ah.
competition, it can be very rough in this country.
Okay, okay.
To the extent that if you seem to be coming out strong, you'll be fought in a very, very negative, very embarrassing way sometimes. Quite a bit of threats here and there.
Goodness.
Yeah. So that's something that entrepreneurs have to cope with.
So anyone out there who's trying to set up a business, they should factor in all these things. Know that it's not going to be easy and that people will fight you even before you begin.
Agreed totally. Mwikali, you're using the right language, yes.
Even before
You'll
you
be fought
begin.
even before you begin. The minute they see symptoms of you wanting to get in,
Yes.
and they know your competitive advantage,
Yes.
then you start being fought very early. So you have to be very strong. Business is not for the easy-hearted.
Yes.
You have to be really, really strong and courageous, as the Bible puts it.
Absolutely. You know, I
Yes.
like that you keep mentioning me and my spouse. Meaning, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. It's a good thing because together you've built an amazing enterprise here in Meru.
Yes.
And family business requires that the both people or the family itself see the goal, the vision that was intended from the beginning. So some of the things that what are some of the things that you have to keep focusing on to make sure that those visions, those goals are still in line from what you thought before, or do they keep changing?
Challenging question, Mwikali, I must say.
Okay.
That running a family business can be challenging, but there are more positives in it, particularly when it comes to the issue of trust.
Okay.
You become business partners now. You are marriage partners, but
let's
in
deal with the
business,
marriage later.
you become business partners.
Okay.
When it comes to advising each other, you have to be candid enough and not soft on each other, because then you have something serious as a family at stake. So you have to put marriage aside and face each other head on.
Susan, is that easy to do?
It may not easy,
time.
but because you appreciate the two of you are working towards a common goal,
Yes.
that really gives some comfort. That somebody is not out to let you down. You are not a competitor.
True.
You are working towards a common
We
goal.
are one team.
For the good of the, yes, you are trying to score on one side as a family.
It's the World Cup
So
season.
that is very helpful.
Yeah.
That is very helpful. Again, you need to appreciate each other because you have different synergies.
Okay.
Like if I look at my spouse, he's from the construction side of profession,
Okay.
but I'm from the School of Business.
Okay.
So when we put the synergies together, then we're able to put up a successful enterprise, I must say.
You know, when you're building something from scratch, we get to points where we're very discouraged sometimes, probably because of the competition. It could be because finances have hit, you know, a dead end. It could be anything.
Yes.
That probably puts us at a place where, like, hey, jamani, do we really have to do this? Tuache kwanza kidogo alafu tutafikiria baadaye. Or, you know, some of these things happen along the way. But you as Susan, as an entrepreneur, how do you pick yourself up when you get to places where you're so challenged, or some places where you feel like, I think I'm done?
That happens quite a lot in the world of business.
Yeah.
You have to do quite a bit of reading. You'll be very encouraged by, you're not the first person to start business
That's
anyway.
true.
People have done it over the years.
Yeah.
And so you read and you know how others get out of those kind of challenges. You also have to listen to a bit of motivational speakers. Some people don't believe in them, but I personally do.
Okay.
Incidentally, sometimes you require somebody to tell you, no, you can.
Oh,
yeah?
beautiful.
No, you can. And you sit back and rethink and you're like, well, if other people can see the capacity in me,
Yes.
I think I should reposition myself and get up again and move. So it can get discouraging at some points, but then you don't want to give up that easily, honestly. Yeah, particularly when you have invested so much of your time,
Yes.
and you don't have two lives.
Yes.
Then you literally have to keep encouraging yourself. And also consider friends who are a source of encouragement. You know, there are friends who can really put you down.
It's true.
But so choose friends who can help you think positively, who can encourage you even when things are looking thick. And they can get very thick in the world of business.
I would like to call you a superwoman, because I don't know how you put a balance to all of these things, because you sit on a couple of boards.
Yes.
Do you want to mention that before I continue counting and put the family in there, and 3 girls and a husband?
Yes. Thank you. A whole load of responsibility.
True.
But very diverse, very encouraging. If there is anything that inspires me in my personal life, it is how I keep doing different things at different times of the year, different days, day, night. I'm on different, I serve, yes, I've served the government in the past in various capacities. I've sat in several boards. I've sat in the board of Kenya Industrial Estates. I have sat in the board of Agriculture and Food Authority. I was actually the first chairperson who started a county microfinance corporation for Meru County. So we are stars in that area. We actually have mentored several other counties.
Great. And
it was something very fulfilling for me because I felt the benefits of devolution were getting directly to the grassroots. Number 2 years, I've been advising clients on investments, both locally and internationally. Yeah, I am married to one Mr. Kairima. I have to be available to him.
Yes.
I have 3 lovely daughters.
Boy, you have to be there.
At very critical stages of life.
Yes.
One of them is already working.
Okay.
She requires me to hold her hand, advise her, now that I've been in that field, and I know the challenges of settling down in careers.
Okay.
The other 2 are in school. One of them is a candidate, and I have to be there for them as a mother. But my priority is motherhood, I must confess.
Wow.
My priority is motherhood. Everything else aside, when I sit back, in my golden days, I'm nearly getting there anyway.
I doubt. I highly doubt.
I would like to feel that I was successful as a mother.
Great.
It is above everything else. For me, we need money to live, but for me, that is not my main driver. But we need money to live. We need money to finance our lives.
Great.
Yeah, so family for me, priority.
Number 1.
Even when I feel actually like family is about to suffer because of the pressures of business,
yes,
I prefer to step aside.
Oh,
consciously prefer to set aside my own self.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Let's talk about ShadeNet before we come to the end of this conversation. So when we checked in, we were told you will go to the new wing, meaning that you've been expanding and expanding this place. How many rooms do you have here?
We have
all the facilities that are found here.
Yes, we have accommodation that is about 50 rooms, nicely furnished. We have 1 apartment, which sometimes I hear the staff calling it presidential.
It's a presidential suite.
We nearly hosted one the other day. Yeah, then of course we have the restaurant, 60 capacity seater.
Okay.
We have conference facilities. The biggest can host up to 150.
Wow.
Yeah. Several meeting rooms. We have a sports bar, very lovely. Like now it's the right season for us.
World Cup, World Cup season.
Yeah, for the soccer lovers.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically those are the main facilities that we have.
Great, and I have to say I've experienced the rooms. They're amazing, and I had my dinner here last night, so I had a really, really good time. Yeah. So for all the people who are watching, people in Meru County, where exactly is ShadeNet Hotel located?
ShadeNet is about 1.5 kilometers from Makutano, which is the main junction joining the main Meru-Nanyuki highway and the road to Maua.
Great.
Yes.
And is it on social media?
Not exactly.
Throwing you off?
No. It's okay, Mwikari.
Okay.
We are not exactly on social media. Reason being that we had put our marketing strategy on hold.
Yes.
Because we needed then to put into the market a final product that we designed.
So even with the new wing and everything else that you're putting in?
Yes, we are actually just about to roll out our marketing strategy.
Great. Yes. 2 questions before I come to the end of this conversation. Yes. For all the young entrepreneurs out there who are probably fearing or scared of stepping into whatever it is that they want to venture in, what would you say to them? And that is your camera.
Well, a word of encouragement that it is so fulfilling to feel that you achieve not by living a very good life, but you have also positively influenced other people's lives. So however challenging business may turn out to be, it is one good thing I would encourage anyone to venture into. For the second other reason, other than fulfilling your own self by supporting other people's lives, by either way of employment, you also feel that you cannot be employed forever. And after all, if you choose to be employed, the employer can decide they don't need you.
Diamond Trust did that.
So why would you rather not plan around your life.
Absolutely.
As opposed to allowing employers to plan your life.
Great.
For me, that has been my biggest source of inspiration, feeling that I can take control of my life. And so I would encourage all the other youths, all the other people who are even going towards retirement, not to wait until an employer decides that we no longer need your service. You can provide that service by employing your own self, and consequently you grow up and employ others. And take courage. Let's take courage, Kenyans, and do business.
Oh, goodness.
We have what it takes. We have the skills, we have the resources, God has blessed us.
Absolutely. You know, my second question you've already answered, because I was going to go with mantra, philosophy, and wisho, but thank you, because I think you've given us what we need. So it's just tapping into those risky situations, those risky dreams that we have, so that we can find that fulfillment, find that place where you can help other people. So go grab that dream, go grab that dream. And you need to also think about how you're going to satisfy, how you're going to empower other people as you do what you do. It could be through employment, it could be through encouraging them, talking to them, providing for them, whatever it is. You go ahead and do that. This has been Motivate with me, Mwikali, talking to Susan at the Shade Net Hotel in Meru County. We're taking a very short commercial break. When we come back, we have Catherine Mwangi on Bricks and Blogs.
Because we had a pre-wedding and people contributed for us some good money. So we spent almost the whole money. And actually, let me say 4 days to the wedding is when I didn't know whether she was not serious for the wedding or...